The actual time I spend outside of college, what makes the biggest difference by far is only 45 minutes. Now the reason why that works so well is because I start early on in the year, it's in manageable chunks, and also I can constantly see the improvement. First I start by making a note of the exam date, which by the way is sort of like a target. Then I pick a subject and I decide I'd count the number of weeks between now and 1 week before the actual exam date. Then what I do is I pick a book for that subject and I divide it up into 12 weeks. Now if there are 12 chapters, then that's one chapter a week. If there are 8 chapters, then I pick 4 small chapters to do one a week, and then the 4 big chapters I divide into 2, or I can even use page numbers to divide it up into 12. 12 equal sections as much as possible. Then what I do is I decide how long I would need to spend each week to complete that section or that chapter. Then let's say ICT would probably take about 1.5 hours for one chapter, whereas maths, if I'm doing half a chapter a week, that's roughly about 4 hours. So I can see that 1.5 hours for ICT, one day would be enough. But for maths, I'd probably need 2 days. Now, I look at my timetable, my college timetable, and I can see that on Monday, for example, I've got double ICT, and I need to do 1.5 hours additional work to do with ICT from the book. So what I do is, the last lesson on Monday is a free period, so I can spend 1 hour on doing the ICT chapter. Now when I'm doing the ICT chapter, preferably I want to relate it to the work I did in class, and I want to make sure it's in a day where I got at least a couple of ICT lessons, because it gets you focused, doesn't it? You learn a lot more. Now in that one session, in that 1 hour where I'm going through my ICT book, first if I'm on chapter 2, I want to read the notes I made on chapter 1, and once I finish chapter 2, I want to again read all the notes I made in that 1 hour on that chapter. Now maths can take, let's say we said 4 hours. I've got a double free period on Wednesday. That's a perfect time to do 2 hours worth of maths work. Again, when I do that 2 hours, first I start by reading what I did the previous time I sat and did maths. Then on Thursday, I've got 1 hour worth of maths in class where I can just check any problems I had with the teacher. And Thursday, last period, I've got another free period, so I can do a 3rd hour of maths in that. So at this stage, you're learning effectively because you're doing the same subjects in the same day as much as possible, and also you're recapping 5-6 times for that subject, not forgetting that next week when you want to start a new chapter, you're looking back at what you did this week as well. So all this recap, the reason why it works so well is because statistically, if you learn something today, in 5 days time you statistically only remember 20% of it, you forget 80%. But if you learn something today and you recap, then within 5 days time you remember 80% of it. That's why it makes such a big difference. So the best decision you can make by far is to spend 1 of your hours during the day, 1 of your free periods, to do a home session, and then 45 minutes at home just to finish that off and recap. Constant improvement is the only sustainable way to progress. It's like a marathon runner. They have to train throughout the year. They can't just spend 12 hours before the marathon running and hope to do well. And it's the same with studying. You can't just spend 12 or even 24 hours before the exam and hope to do well. It just doesn't work that way. And also, the biggest problem is that with synoptic papers, you need to understand and learn all the modules. You can't just spend 12 hours hoping to go through all the modules. But if you've got good notes, good detailed notes, then if you read it once or twice, and if you've initially understood it from the very beginning, then reading it once or twice, and that's all you need to do, and you'll be ready for the synoptic papers. The 45 minutes at home, how I break that up is, the first 15 minutes I always recap what I did during that day in class. That means all the notes I've made in class, I just read them over again, and I go through any spellings or any words in the dictionary that I don't understand, and I check those. Now the second half an hour, what I do there is, I catch up with my home sessions. So if I've done 1 hour of ICT during my free period on a Monday, at home I've got half an hour just to finish that chapter. And again, at the end of that half an hour, I want to read that notes I've made, all the notes I've made for the home sessions. On Wednesday evening, I do half an hour of maths, and Thursday evening, I do another half an hour of maths. That makes 4 hours altogether. So that would finish what I need to do for maths in that week. And let's say on Thursday, I was given homework to do 5 questions. Now, that half an hour at home, I can do those 5 questions. That would count as that home session because the chapters you do from the book, hopefully, will be the same as you're doing in the class. Another thing with trying to study for 12 hours straight before the exam is, it can't be done. You can't concentrate for that long. You're just going to get a headache. And then the next day, you're going to be stressed and feel a sense of panic as well, instead of confidence. But with notes, it's so effective because the whole book, you can summarize it with notes and what you understand, and it'll only take you about 1.5 hours to read your whole notes about that book. You can do that many times before the exam. Another thing with notes is, it's a quick reference. Let's say you're doing a past paper and there's a chapter 5, you got a question wrong, you can go straight back to chapter 5 in your notes. It'll only take you 10 minutes to read that section. You can also add notes to it, but the thing is, you don't have to go to a book and read the whole chapter 5 for you to understand the answer. Another thing is, when you've got notes, not only is it in your words and your understanding, but also you know sort of where everything goes, and that helps you visualize. When there's a question and an issue comes up, you know that, let's say, there's 3 points to do with this question. Just because it's in your notes, you can sort of visualize it. And you'll also find that your home notes will be a lot more detailed than your class notes. So that can help you just get everything in that you need. In order for you to understand and learn at the same time, you need to do 4 things. A, you need to read slowly. B, you need to focus on what you're reading. There shouldn't be any distractions. C, you need to make notes. Now for me, I have to make notes in order for me to understand, truly learn and understand. And roughly every page in a book, I can summarize it in just about 1 paragraph, just the key issues. Or if it's something like ICT, then I can put it in bullet point form. It depends on the subject. D, the last thing is questions. Now wherever there are questions in the book, you should try to do them. Not every single one, but questions are a great way of for you to test whether you've learned it or not. And for you to sort of remember and practice. It's the best way of practicing as well. Just getting the techniques right. Now with maths, as an example, roughly 30% of the questions you just want to leave out because there are other similar ones. If it's easy or if it's similar to another question, then you don't want to do. Now 50% of the questions, more likely or not, you want to do those just for you to learn. Because maths, one of the main ways of learning is through doing the questions, whereas something like business studies is reading more than answering questions. But with maths, about 50% of the questions in the book you want to do. And at the last 20% of the questions, you want to leave those and do those in the run-up to the exam, whether it's a difficult one or whether it's a part D or something like that. Now, once you've done all that, once you've learnt and everything at your home session, now you want to pack everything up and leave it to a side so you know that it's finished. Not only that, but you want to make sure you finish by 5 PM or 6 PM at the very latest. It's just that after that you'll be tired and your ability to learn won't be as good. When you initially start the process, it's so important that you start easy. Because let's say someone goes to the gym and they kill themselves on the first day. Now they're never going to go back because they associate too many painful things to going to the gym. That's why it's important to start easy. You can, for example, the first night you can spend 45 minutes cleaning your room. Then the second night you can go on modernizationonline.org.uk and you can download your timetable. And then get your books and schedule how many pages or how many chapters you're going to do per week. And also get your college timetable and block out your home sessions during your free periods as well. Then the third night, that's when you're ready to actually start. So when you do that, you must set maximum time limits for yourself when you're initially starting. Maximum time limits, I mean 45 minutes. Let's say you start at 4:15, you must promise yourself to finish for 5 because you're much more likely to go ahead with it if you do it that way. And the way you do that is you schedule to do something between 5 and 6. Just as long as it's after 5, you schedule to do something that you're going to look forward to. This process of chunking and doing things gradually is exactly the same for coursework, for you to get a good grade in coursework. Now, you got 2 options. If you don't do anything and it's the 1 week before the deadline you start your coursework, you're probably going to spend about 50 hours doing that coursework. Your other subjects are going to suffer. And you're going to be stressed and worried throughout. And you're also not going to get feedback off your teacher. So realistically, you shouldn't be getting more. You shouldn't expect to get more than a D. But if you spend 5 hours a week for 10 weeks, not only are you getting a lot of feedback from your teacher. And by the way, whenever you hand in a piece of coursework to your teacher, make sure you hand it in as if it's your final draft. It just helps your grade improve a lot more. Not only are you doing that, but you're also getting to focus on that particular part of your coursework each week, which helps you do it a lot more effectively, a lot better. And you get to make sure that all of the syllabus is followed, so there are no gaps. And in your classes where you're doing your coursework, you can spend your time a lot better as well, because you know where you're up to. And that way, you're in a much better position to get an A.